Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Hope you had yourself a great weekend. We're already to Monday, February the 3rd, and over the weekend here, I stayed up late. I guess you could say got up early to watch Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania. And of course, he saw his shadow, and that means 6 more weeks of winter ahead. I think that is a good forecast. I think that's true for Pennsylvania, for Michigan, and for a good part of the country as we see some pretty cold air develop once again across the area here around mid-month. In Michigan, we have more winter ahead, of course. Spring officially arrives on March the 20th, and that is the spring equinox. 45 days until that occurs, so we got a little bit more winter to get through. And you can see the average temperatures, how those go up by month. We're at about low 30s now, but we're up into the mid 40s by March. In fact, by the end of March, we're up to the low 50s. In April, the average high temperature is 58, but again, that runs from about 50 on the 1st to all the way up into the mid 60s during the latter part of April. May, we're up to an average of 70, and then June at 79, and we're into summer. Phil's predictions go back to 1886. That's a long time. 109 predictions of 6 or more weeks of winter, 21 predictions for an early spring. And there were some years where there was a mixed forecast. That was back a long time ago. Hey, we got a great picture here, probably from Michelle from Traverse City when they lived up there by Traverse City. And from the look of the trees there, and looks as if we're probably around very late April or more likely the first week of May or thereabouts. If you'd like to submit a photo that we can use here on the presentations, you can send that to me at bill@billsteffen.com. Well, this is the anniversary of the time that we had the Groundhog Day blizzard. Most of that was on February 2, but it was actually February 1 to February 3. And a whole area from northern Mexico up to Michigan and then east into New England hit by tremendous snows. There was some severe weather with that. In fact, we had some thunder snow with that here in the West Michigan area. Quite a storm. We had blizzard warnings in effect in that bright red color from Oklahoma up into southeast Michigan. The pink colored areas are regions that were under a winter storm warning, and you could go from a winter storm warning from El Paso, Texas to Maine. It was quite the storm. Look at much of the country has a color to it, and that means there was some kind of warning and advisory in effect. Down toward Tennessee, that brown area is a wind advisory. We had a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Louisiana and Mississippi. There were 77 reports of severe weather on the 1st of February down in the southern United States, including 3 tornadoes. This is the 3-day snowfall totals out of Chicago. Beach Park with the most, that's north of Chicago, 24.2 inches. Both Midway and O'Hare picked up around the same, about 21, 22 inches there. Just a slight boost of lake effect in the cold air added to the general snow across the area, which was about 12 to 16 inches. Here's some snowfall totals. Chicago O'Hare 21.2, South Haven the most in West Michigan with 20 inches. Wolf Lake is east of Muskegon in Muskegon County. Hudsonville there with 18, Cedar Springs almost 18, Dorr at 17, and then 16 inches fell at both Kentwood and at Hastings. And it wasn't just the snow, it was the wind. Wow, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust occurred with this storm in downtown Chicago. That'd be like a really bad, severe thunderstorm. 61 miles an hour at O'Hare. There was a bus that turned sideways somehow and wedged itself across all 3 lanes of Lakeshore Drive, and they had to bring in a special lift to lift the bus up and turn it sideways so they could drive it off and clear the road out there. We had 53-mile-an-hour gusts in Ludington, 49 miles an hour in Grand Rapids. Those winds blew the snow into drifts 6 to 8 feet high. We had 100,000 without power, mostly due to wind more so than snow. The snow was really light and fluffy and didn't really cling to much with that strong wind that we had here. And boy, did it get cold. Right after the blizzard, the next day, the temperature in the morning was 0 in Grand Rapids. And this is probably one of the most incredible facts with this storm. It got to 1 below 0 Fahrenheit in Chihuahua, Mexico. There were 35 animals that perished at the Chihuahua Zoo, and a lot of trees that did not make it through that frozen spell in the first week of February. Again, that was in 2011. There's a look at the storm that comma shape that you can see with the thunderstorms down there heading through Alabama down into Louisiana, and the moisture trail goes way back into the Pacific Ocean with the storm. It was a incredible storm. We have a dense fog area here, advisory during the morning hours, and so beware of that. You might have to leave a couple minutes early to get where you're going. Roads, for the most part, should be damp. I cannot rule out a slick spot if you're heading up toward Big Rapids, where temperatures are a couple degrees cooler. And speaking of cooler, this is the long-range outlook for the period from February 10 to 16. February 10 is probably close to normal. By the time we get to the 16th, we'll be well below normal as yet another slug of Arctic air comes our way. So that period from about February 15 to 20 is going to be mighty chilly around here. Good news, though, for anybody interested in winter sports, as this rather good winter that we're having continues. Next weekend should be great for winter sports, and we got many more good weekends ahead here as we head through February and into early March. It does stay warm down in Florida, so if anybody wants to escape the cold, head to someplace warm. Central or southern Florida would be the place to be. 42 the high today. It's almost 10 degrees warmer than average. Temperatures here should be on the cooler side the rest of the week. Humidities will be high with the fog around. Winds will turn from the south in the morning to the northwest in the afternoon at 5 to 15 miles an hour. So some morning fog today, maybe a break or two in the clouds tomorrow, but cooler at 30. And we're back into the low to mid 30s here Wednesday and Thursday. There will be a period of either snow or freezing rain Wednesday afternoon through Thursday morning. So the Wednesday evening commute, the Thursday morning commute could be a little tricky, and it will get windy here on Thursday, probably yet another day with wind gusts up around 35 to 40 miles an hour. We're chilly here on Friday, should be back up into the low to mid 30s here next weekend. One final note, February 3rd today, National Carrot Cake Day. We had carrot cake at our wedding, believe it or not, and as I mentioned there for Lawrence Welk, my father was a big band drummer, and in the Chicago area where Lawrence Welk hung out for a long time. You can still see reruns of his shows on PBS at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, which is kind of interesting. But we've had a lot of good carrot cakes over the years. My mother made some good ones. My wife makes some good ones as well. So once again, you can head to my YouTube channel, Bill Steffen 616 is where that's located, and get the weather anytime at billsteffen.com. Thanks so much for checking in today with us. Have a great day and a